Welcome to Podcast This Escape, the podcast where we talk about the escape room we escaped from in the previous episode of this podcast. James, Johnny, John, you did it. Congratulations.
Nailed it.
Hooray! We're
Oh,
free!
hooray.
Heaps of cash. Martin's dead. He died. There's no air in that vault. No, congratulations. Did you all have fun? Was it an enjoyable experience?
Yeah,
It was.
great time.
I thoroughly enjoyed the variety of different puzzles. I felt my brain was spinning. We went from one sort of decoding words to then decoding numbers to go and doing all these different things.
Did you all feel like you contributed with the items that you brought along on this heist?
I think so.
Yeah,
think.
definitely. And also, we each kind of solved a puzzle each, I think, as far as I can remember. There was someone did well on one part of it, another one did well on the other. Like, it was definitely a team effort.
I
don't
feel
think
like
we
you
done
all
it
had a
alone.
lot to be proud of and you worked really well together.
Yes, it was really nice to see, especially ones where you would someone would come up with a little bit or notice one thing, and then you'd see the other person go, oh, wait, let's try this version. And it definitely did feel, there's no moment where I think anyone was like, I've got it, and the other two are idiots. So it all came together very well.
That's what normally happens. That's our normal.
Yeah.
That's the mantra.
Well, I had a couple of questions about kind of writing
Oh, sure.
the escape room. I don't know if that's kind of normally the way you do it. So
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of my background for people who don't know is kind of creating quiz shows and game shows for TV. And so like the mechanics and everything behind it and how it works. So I'm not necessarily the most intelligent of people, but I understand how like the mechanics of it can work. And so when you start about writing it, are you writing individual puzzles that you link together and then fit a theme around it? Or are you essentially going, I've had this great idea for a number puzzle, I will apply that at some case, and you're kind of piecing together lots of different bits?
I am full theme and story first. So I go with the location that I
Right.
want to use, the story that I want to build around it, and then the objects and things that make sense to be there. And then I start drawing arrows to connect them and say, this is going to lead to this. There's going to be an obstacle here. And the last possible step is, all right, and I guess there's got to be a puzzle of some sort. Let's think of a puzzle that makes sense. I always say the puzzling is like, it's my storytelling medium, but there are much better puzzle designers out there and people who feel the puzzles a lot more. I like telling stories. That's what I like to do the most.
Right.
Like every time that you crapped on Martin, that made me the happiest ever.
How interesting, because yeah, I would be the complete opposite if it was me to design. I've never done anything like this, but if I was to design an escape room, I would probably design some puzzles that I quite liked and then just throw a theme around it that kind of loosely fits. But
If you can do that and you have the skill to be able to make it then feel like it seamlessly belongs there, then great.
Yeah, and we've had that. We've had a lot of guest game masters, guest writers on the show who have written their own rooms and come on and played them. And they will go on from both ends of the spectrum. Some of them would go, I had these puzzles and I just tried to find somewhere where I could fit these puzzles in, like you might be, and then others would do, like Danny, completely ignore the puzzles until the end. So lots of people have different ways of writing this type of thing. We've noticed over time as more and more people have brought them on for us. So yeah, it can be different.
I made one at Christmas the year before last for everyone to win their chocolate orange at the end of Christmas
Lovely.
Day. But I gave them all a present that day that became part of the escape room, like a deck of cards with some little holes
Aw.
cut in
Mm.
and a book.
oh,
And if you put a certain card over a page of the book, it would give you the letters that would then unlock a padlock.
And they were all the sorts of people
Oh.
were were into that sort of thing and
No,
would
they
do
hate
it
it.
and not just
They-
yell at you.
No, they absolutely hated it because it was all my family and extended family. It was Christmas Day. They're tired. They've been drinking. They just want to sit down and relax. And then I whipped out this big, like, hamper-style crate wrapped in chains and padlocks and was like, right, guys, let's do this. And,
You must solve
Johnny,
my
I'd-
riddles 3.
I'd have loved that.
I know you'd have
Jim and
loved
I,
it.
A couple
Yeah.
of Christmases ago, so I have 5 nieces and nephews all up, and my sister-in-law asked me, hey, could you write them a little scavenger hunt or something just to like keep them out of the way while food's getting made or something? And so I just sent them out and they were gone for ages.
It was
Yeah.
a big one.
there's no actual solution to this.
no. Jim and I last Christmas with my kids as well worked our way through most of the exit calendar, didn't we?
Mm.
Oh,
Over the
nice.
course of a day, and
Yes.
had a lovely time puzzling.
Well,
I loved the way in that the whole box was part of the puzzle, wasn't it? A bit
Exit
like yours,
does that,
Johnny.
and that's always fun
So
to figure
clever.
out.
Really,
so
really
good.
cleverly
Johnny
done.
bought me that actually as an advent calendar, and I did it on day 1, and then day 2 came along. I was like, it took me so long to do the first one. I haven't got the energy to do it. So I was like, John's coming over at Christmas time with his kids. I'll save it up. And so we did it as a run. I'm not doing an advent calendar before December the 24th. That's bad luck. But as soon as kind of Boxing Day hit, we did the whole thing over across 2 nights.
Nice.
It was so
Whereas
fun.
I did it the year before, the same one, and it took me until August, I think, to finish it.
Oh, with the chocolates by that point.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was 8 hours a day as well. That wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Full
hard.
time.
wasn't it?
Yeah. But we got there. We got there.
Well, speaking of got there, did you have moments in this room that, like, what made you particularly happy with yourself? Any
Any
shining
proud
moments for you?
Moments.
I mean, for James, it was
I've got a
surely
low
getting
point.
Those numbers, the factors of 28.
very,
I would
very
never,
Oh, that
never
was-
have
no,
even
I
Picked
wouldn't
up
have
on
got
that real
gone
fast.
anywhere near that.
That was
Well,
rapid.
on our pod, I often excel when we have mathsy quizzes. So that would be something that you can kind of, with numbers, and you can kind of game your way there. And I basically saw the numbers 1 to 30 and the information we had and just tried to work out how would you do that with numbers. The slight issue was I also proved how not intelligent I am by using words like not intelligent, but also because I missed out one of the factors of the
Yeah.
numbers.
It happens.
So I
That's
kind
the
of
issue.
Close. That was heartbreaking because I didn't know.
it.
I didn't want to just tell you, yes, you have exactly the right idea. Just try a little bit harder. But I didn't want to tell you, no, it doesn't work either.
I had this terrible moment. I play tested this room recently to make sure kind of all the puzzles were working. And I got to this one. It took me a lot longer on this factors puzzle. But I got stuck going, okay, wait, 1 turns on 1. Okay, 1 and 2 turns on 2. 1 and 3 turns on 3. But 1 and 4 doesn't turn on 4. And 1 and 2 and 3. So wait, so when they're prime numbers, it just works. Like 1 and 3, that's prime.
Yeah.
1 and 5, yeah, that's prime. 1 and 7, all these prime numbers are working. I don't quite get it. It took me a long time to like, yeah, dummy, it's because they only have themselves. Like, that's it. That's a prime number.
I was really
Factors.
excited. There was a moment where you realized that 1, 2, and 3 altogether didn't quite work because that would have needed 6 as well to make that happen.
Yeah.
To do anything. But then you said, oh, maybe we should just skip 3 and go straight to 4. And 1, 2, and 4, that would have done something. I was really excited. And then you went to
Yeah.
14 and that did something anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's odd because, again, the way my brain works is I kind of knew there was a link and I knew what you had to do, but I wasn't quite sure of exactly what it was. And I get kind of near about, that's kind of what tends to happen on our pod as well. It's like, I kind of know what the answer is. I kind of know what it is, but my brain isn't quick enough to catch up with what it is. And so I'm near the answer in the ballpark, but not quite there. The one I was massively impressed with was John getting open this from the words, because we were
yeah.
trying lots of different
I mean-
combinations there.
I will
I
say,
got open
you guys,
pone for a while.
open poem was good. You guys, I was really happy with this because this in the playtest, Bill is saying, "Oh, I'm not sure if there's enough information in this puzzle to suggest that these are the words they should anagram or that you should anagram in." And I just went, "I don't know. You get a bunch of 8 letters and 2 4-letter words. I reckon they can do it. I think 3
Yeah.
people, this will work." And you honed in on that immediately, and I was so thrilled.
It was
I love
such a
any
good
kind
solve.
of anything like that, anything word based, any kind of you've got to find the anagrams using letters. I love that kind of thing. So it's really in my wheelhouse. Much like
Mm.
Jim, you and the factors, you were on that in a heartbeat. I was all over those letters.
And look, let's not get away from the fact that you knew. I felt like you were on the same wavelength to me for the stupid solutions, the silly ways to use your
Oh, yeah.
items.
Yeah.
As soon
Oh,
as it's
yeah.
gone
That was- and
again,
involved,
that's-
it's sticking
Yeah.
to something.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was
We're
Johnny.
using that.
Was it Johnny? Johnny kind of posited the ideas for most of the items as well. Like we do something on our pod called Whimsy, and that's where Johnny is in his element, where he just goes off on a little flight of fancy. And I think that was mega useful in the room.
And it's also true that is like the other like those are also puzzles that need to be solved. Those are, but they're puzzles about like the environment that you're in and how to make it
Yeah.
interact with itself in different ways. It's not like oh, here's the numbers that are up to this, or here are the letters that do this, or some puzzly puzzle that you find in a puzzle book. But it is still puzzle solving. It's almost a sort of a video game puzzle solving when, you know, you get like Zelda dungeons where it's like, wait, this thing kind of has the same shape as this thing. Can I push this into this and this opens it? And
How can
being
I
able to think-
craft this thing?
Yeah,
Exactly.
and it's
That
was a really
noticing
fun element.
these elements. I am glad I did request the puddles be added in.
Yes,
to
there
help you have
originally
an
weren't
element of
puddles
water.
there, and
Oh,
I just
yeah.
intended you to use your own saliva or
And I just thought,
thereabouts.
We
you
needed
need
the puddles.
you need the puddle to be
Definitely
like,
the puddle.
why?
Yeah.
I've got water. What can I do with water? Wait a minute, water and flour. I can make a
Yeah.
thing. It's
Because that's
Special
it.
mention to the suggestion to make the bird a cake to lure it away.
Because I guess the more,
We had almost
the
all
more
the
you
ingredients.
listen to these, the more you realise that sort of no words, everything's there for a reason.
Yeah.
No
You know,
words are
Yeah,
wasted,
I
are they?
You're
try
not
my best not
wasting-
to red herring things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the second we looked over the edge and you could see all the lights on, I was essentially like,
Mm.
well, okay, we're going to have to go back and look and see that at some
Mhm.
point. So to kind of, oh, these flick on
I
lights.
was very
Work.
happy with the way that, Bill, you did this in the playtest as well, and then you immediately cottoned onto that, because I feel like that was sort of a later addition to my notes. Like, it was in the playtest, but I feel like that was one of the last things that I thought of to make sense.
But it is good because you're right. It sets you up for this future. You're waiting to use it. You're thinking,
Yeah,
okay,
it's a tease.
at some point I'm
Yeah,
going to have to look at all the
exactly.
lights on the building.
On
Yeah.
the note of
Yeah.
teasing red herrings, in the playtest, I mentioned that mural had a bit more to it. It also had like 3 happy, really crappily drawn happy children with their arms out on the bottom of it.
Okay, yeah.
But their arms were out, so it looked sort of snowflake-ish, and they were all wearing clothes, so they had tops. So all of those things were possible
they
distractions.
had tops, they had clothes, there were different colors of, and it was just, and yeah, I thought they standing both with like their head going up, their arms going up, left, up, right,
Yeah,
down,
yeah,
left.
yeah.
And also they kind of looked like cogs, and they were and originally these buttons were
Were
described as
described as, like,
cog-shaped
cog-like.
buttons.
Because whenever I think of a
okay, yeah.
bank vault door, I think of cogs.
Yeah, fair enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was
It's
just
good
too
we
much
watched-
stuff
yeah,
that was like,
we would have
this
been,
needs to be
yeah,
relevant.
fixated on those kids,
Yeah.
those
Yeah,
drawings.
It
So
really helps us
instead,
that
there's
it
a big
was
thing
kind of
in my
done-
notes that says "cut the kids."
Yeah, cut those kids.
Yeah, that's Martin.
something Martin would do.
Yeah, Martin's back.
Yeah, that's
Martin
his
will be
favourite.
back.
But
I'm sure Martin will be back. It's not
We
the
have
last
a
he's
whole
seen of him.
host of NPCs with revenge plots.
Martin feels like the kind of man he's pretty robust. He's got a way with words. If he talked us into getting into a heist for one last job, I think he can talk his way out of being found in a vault.
I'd say the best thing about any escape room is that moment where you've solved it. It's where you're like, I've got nothing else to go on, I don't know, and then it clicks. A
Mm.
bit like the writing on the plaque and the up, downs, left, right. So we were
Yeah.
like, well, what is it? And then all of a sudden, oh, it's hidden across 2 words, or it's hidden on these
Yeah.
different places. And then you list it and go, well, hang on, there can't be 2 ups. So it must be up first and then up, right, and then it all just clicks and go, oh, of course. And you feel so stupid, but
You
also so
asking
happy.
That initial question, James, you asked really early on. So how would I refer to these buttons? Would I refer to them as like up, down, left, and things like that? And it's just, yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe you will. Who knows?
We'll see about.
Well, yeah, because I guess my brain was like, if we're having a puzzle to solve, we need to press these in a certain order, but how do I know which one's which? And I was really struggled with the shape of it, because in my head I
Yeah.
couldn't see what it looked like. And I had to, I don't know if you kept it in the edit, but I had to get Johnny to hold up his piece of paper to show me how he'd drawn it so I could then copy it.
How I'd drawn
So that
6
then I was like,
dots.
right. Yeah, it was literally just 6 dots. It was very simple. But the second my brain clicked into that, I was like, well, you're going to need to tell me to press it in a certain way. How are you referring to it? It's not cardinal. And so how do you do it? And so that kind of how
It was
clicked
also
in
a really
there.
lovely thing to watch because it happened exactly as you kind of wanted to happen, which is you read this plaque, you'd be like, yeah, this is a weird plaque, it's kind of odd, but that's okay. And then you went to, how do we refer to these? Like maybe up, like kind of up and right, or right up, or to kind of
When you had
lower
decided,
right,
I
down
think
right.
that this puzzle must be connected to the plaque.
And at that point, when you were kind of going through what they could be, and you sort of saying maybe down and right, down, left, there was like a beat, there was a break, and then John went, oh, it says down right, like, or whichever, you know,
Yes.
it's like, it says down right here. And it's this thing of like, it was less meaningful. And then you say, how do I want to refer to the buttons? now downright is meaningful. Then you go back to the plaque, you're like, oh my gosh, that is written on the
Which is
plaque.
always what you want when you leave a solution to a puzzle sort of out in the open like that. You hope that it's not obvious just from looking at it.
So it was really nice. It was like a perfect. It was how you would want it to be in your brain when you're writing that out.
Yeah.
If we'd have just looked at the mural and gone, well, it says open this, we'll probably need to come back to that at some point, won't we? Yeah, okay. Oh, there's 6 different directions in this. Oh, hey, look, there's 6 things. Let's just press that. It'd be a short
I really
podcast.
like with that plaque. I really loved the part that there were 10 in total. There were 10 letters, and we then had to divide them up to give the correct buttons to press to give us the order. I love Jim. You were on that super quick in kind of dividing those up.
Yeah.
I'd written them all down. I was just very slowly popping them in brackets, and your brain was sort of just basically then telling me.
We did realize that if you were a crazy person and you didn't split them into like up left but left up, you could get a completely different
you could have the
working
order
combination.
Down, then right up, then up, then left down, then left up, and then right down.
Which would be mad.
But also at that point, this is part of the beauty of the format. At that point, we can just say, all right, they've decided that's how they like to refer to them.
I guess that works.
That's
we
now
can
the
just let
correct
it happen.
answer.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to.
That's
We're
it.
not going to be like, damn, but we programmed the lock wrong. It's like we didn't program the lock. We just said that it opens. We can say that whenever we want.
But that's why the word downright was so good, because it was that was our gateway. It sticks.
That
We
was
thought,
what I
okay,
hoped.
those two go together. We can move on from that point.
Yeah.
Turns out
Really
that
nice.
up, down, left, right, up, you can fit into heaps of words and hide it inside them, like upgrade and support. And group. That's why that one was all the ups were the hard ones. None of the others. Right, you can fit right inside a couple of words. Left and down, not so much.
Though finding landowners was great, especially splitting it
landowners
over
are
the
good.
line.
Yeah.
Group.
And
down
down, I
really-
was
Johnny.
stuck on for a long time. And that sentence, if you keep reading it, the more grammatically questionable it'll get. But
Well, that's it. As soon as you read you realise something's weird about this. So
Yes.
you know.
which is a fun feeling in escape rooms and puzzles when you could do that just in cryptic crosswords and things as well. Some words just stand out at you as, well, that's there on purpose because I hate reading it.
This sounds gross. It must be a puzzle.
I've just been thinking of words you could use for left. Could you, like, treble clef and then start
Right?
another word with a T?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Like,
that.
I love the way
awful.
that you sing to a treble clef
Yep,
today.
trust me, I considered it.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's
there was
brilliant.
that. Wondered
It's,
how many things could be cleft in twain.
I met a French man called Francois. Let's call him Le F. Today I went to Francois' house.
I absolutely wondered if there would be some way that I could say, like, just, okay, FT, does FT on its own, like, mean anything?
Fort
Like,
Henry.
they've been reading the Financial Times.
Yeah. Yes.
Something battle fort Henry and it's FT
Or like
for
featuring,
fort.
featuring. Little, yeah.
Or like an abbreviation for feet in inches.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
yep, there were limited
Fun.
options, let's say.
No, yeah, you're
But
right.
it's testament to the puzzles though that it goes exactly how you wanted it to. But because must be some part of you having kind of written a puzzle and then people playing it where you go, it could just fail horribly. Have you ever had a moment where on the podcast or anything where you've written a puzzle and either you've miscalculated and it's not the actual
totally.
like, for example, in that plaque, there aren't enough combinations to do because
Yeah.
again
or I
wrote
accidentally included another word that had up in it or something like that.
Yeah.
Those
Yes.
things. Generally, Bill is a very good playtester and he spots those things. So I have a lot of clunks in the playtests. But generally, big oopsies have happened more in the earlier seasons before he was playtesting for me.
And it's also a thing that, like, you can probably appreciate from a position of having written for TV and other shows, right? That this format is very, very robust because
We're here the whole time.
Because the hands you never have to have that hands-off moment where it goes out to the people playing it, right? Like a TV format has to be tested because eventually it goes and the people are just there playing it, and there's some control, but you can't step in too much. Whereas for us, it's more robust to change it because we can always there's always like Danny is running it. She can change it on the fly or change what is true on the fly, or just be like, hey, you know what?
Just give the right kind of
We're just gonna change
encouragement or
this tell you
discouragement
the
on
right
the fly.
hints.
Yeah.
So while it's play tested and we make sure there's no terrible errors of like, oh wait, this literally doesn't solve properly.
Yeah.
it's
This
much more
one-
robust to get people to the correct solution.
Originally, in the playtest, the lift was like down on floor 10 or something, and that was a complete mess and didn't make any logical sense. It broke everything.
Yeah. We moved the lift. We made a note of where the lift was, and we went through a whole thing of like, but wait, couldn't I just walk onto floor 30, turn around, press the button to call the lift comes up, I get in the lift, and then I go down.
And then that was before he discovered the security camera in the lift, so I was just saying, no, that won't work, just trust me.
Yeah, and then eventually went, oh, there's a camera in. Great, so I would have been a waste of my time. That's fine. But like all these
And then you would have had
things-
to wait until the lift went somewhere else before you could try again.
Yeah, so just a few little things.
How long is the process to write the room, like from initial spark to the final thing? How many hours are you putting into creating each
That is
one?
a really good question because I'm not one of those people who sits down and closes off distractions and writes for a long period of time. I am the sort of person who I will complete one task. I will decide, all right, here's going to be a puzzle connecting these two items. All right, now let's do a Slay the Spire run. And then when I die, I will go back and I will write a paragraph. So I have no idea anymore how long it takes me to do anything.
That's why every now and then our accountants are like, can you say how many hours you are working on these days? Like, no,
Sorry,
that's
man.
the worst.
No.
We're always working. We're
Some.
always not working. It's always the same.
Yeah.
And you must have
But
things
that's the thing
just
with
pop into
something
your
create.
head. Like you just, you're in the supermarket and you go, oh, that's interesting. Those barcodes, that could be a thing.
On
or
Wednesday,
I imagine
so
your phones are
room-
full of notes. Ours are.
Oh,
When
definitely.
you have an idea like that, bang,
Yes.
well, I've got to write that down. It's
usually
gone
last
otherwise.
thing in bed before you fall asleep. But yeah, the next room of this series, I haven't finished the write up for it, but I've done all my arrowing, and the only things left in my on paper notes are there's one puzzle that I had a faint idea of, but wasn't really sure what it was going to look like, and one space where I just said self-contained puzzle goes here.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesday night, I went to roller skating, and just while doing laps around a roller skating rink, I got those in place and one more puzzle for a completely different project. So apparently
that's
that
what
was
I
my
do.
meditative state.
Amazing.
That's
If
it.
I'm on
Go
my-
for a
if I'm
walk.
on my-
That's what I do.
Yeah, if I go on my bike, that's when I come up with my best ideas for
whereas
TV
I
shows or whatever.
have figured out I'm the opposite. Because I don't do the escape room writing, but I do a lot of the murder mystery writing for our second show, Solve This Murder, where we have murder mystery style games where one of us tries to solve the murder, the other person runs the whole thing and plays all the witnesses and the evidence and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I've discovered over time that I cannot ever think of anything when I am not dedicating time to sitting with a notebook in front of me and writing. I've never once had a thought that adds to it. It just cannot happen. And so I'll sit there being like, oh, I'm making no progress on this thing. I'm making no progress. I keep trying to, I'll sit there and think, I'll try and think up what happens next. And I get nowhere. I cannot do anything. And then I sit down, I go, right, I'll just get I'll get my pen out and I will start writing in this book and I'll see what happens. And suddenly it's like, oh, wow, I wrote like 90% of this in 2 days just sitting and writing. Like, I'm the opposite. I cannot, an idea cannot stick in my head passively. I have to sit and go, let me sit and actually write this. So it's I'm the odd one out on this call, but
No, it's fascinating though, because there's no correct process. So again, my day job is kind of creating TV formats, and there's no correct way to do it. Everyone's brain works in a certain way. Some people work best when they're out of the office doing something else. So a lot of the time, people might think, oh, you've got to be at your desk, you've got to work 9 to 5, you've got to slave away, you've got to work all the evenings. Actually, the best thing to do is not to work, and your brain, like you're roller skating, and then it just crops into your head that way. It's such a
Definitely.
fascinating process.
I would say
and it's
there
just
are
how different
occasional
people
there
work.
are occasional moments where if I feel like I'm a bit under a deadline crunch, I will just go, all right, no, you know what? Even if I'm going to do my standard play a game and then look at my notebook, I'm not going to wait for an inspirational moment. I can force it a little bit on some occasions.
Yeah, definitely a deadline forces things to think about. It's more the and if you have to work, that's why everyone does exams late. Because you've got to do it, so you kind of not exams, coursework. You've got to do it, so you kind of write in the evening. But I'm just kind of fascinated by the ideas process because, again, for our pod, we're coming up with one quiz each week that's brand new and kind of inspired by the week around us. And we're quite a way in now. We've recorded kind of 40 odd pods, and there's extra pods in there. We're nearing 100 quizzes.
Nice.
And
that's hard work.
But it's not. That's the thing. It just kind of comes to you, and a lot of people, when they listen to it, are kind of like, "How do you come up with that idea?" And it's I don't know. It just
Yeah.
I was
I say that
I
a
was
lot
just
to
there.
people. how did you come up with that? It's like, well, I was having a shower and it came to me. I don't really know how the idea occurred. It was clearly sort of working around in the back of my brain, and then all of a sudden it just needed me to have a shower, and that germinated into the idea for a quiz.
Yeah.
I was going to ask a question about the extra bits and bobs. So I imagine when you do your play testing, between you come up with the dead ends that people will go down, and you've got a little bit of narrative to go alongside that. Because often, Danny, you will do a little bit. You've got a little bit of pre-prepared stuff.
I do have a couple of failure notes.
Mostly those are done before any play. We don't find those in the playtest. Danny's quite good at going, here's the stuff people will want to do. Let me pre-write a bunch of like fail text for that.
Yeah.
So it's often just you'll. I think very rarely do we find something where you think after the playtest, I better write down a response to that. Usually you've got them all.
No, I will say it's not impossible. Like I didn't have anything pre-planned for try to glaive the bird's nest or try to use the gummy glaive to get the screwdriver. So that was a very in the moment thing of any interaction like that will risk tipping it over.
You do occasionally, if there's a character in the room, you just say, this character will poo-poo any other idea. So Bill, you can take over and do that.
It's true. If Bill is an NPC, the no answers I will often leave to him because he's better at improvising than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say today is the first time I've ever heard the word glaive used.
Glaive?
Yeah.
I'd never heard, I don't know what it
glaive.
is. I'm not sure what it is. And I feel like I haven't said any word more
You'll never
today
forget.
than that.
You gotta love a glaive.
With John and Johnny, did you know a glaive?
Big glaive heads.
I've heard the word glaive before, yeah.
In my head,
I'm
I'm
not
not
sure.
sure.
Not just on the
If you'd
podcast.
played more tabletop role-playing games, you'd be all
If
over
you
it.
just got your act together and played some tabletop role-playing games, you had glaives out the wazoo.
Yeah.
Do you
I
think
in
that
my head
this...
I could see a stick with a sword on the end.
It's
type
a
thing.
pole
Exactly.
arm of some description.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just Googled it. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, if we had played more tabletop games, there would be people listening to your pod who are like, how on earth do these lads not know what glaive means?
But I wonder if you'd have said, and Andy's holding a glaive, would any of us three known what that was?
I wouldn't have expected
Would
that.
any of you have been brave enough to ask? Just like,
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
You've got a glaive,
Oh.
we'll find out in context.
Yeah, we've got a
just gone along
glaive.
with
Great,
it.
that'll come in useful.
Yeah.
That'll be useful. Johnny, you want to use the glaive yet?
Not yet. We'll save it for later.
If I can just make a request for a future quiz, if one of you could write a Glaives of the World quiz, you could be like, "What's this? Is this a Naginata or a Guandao?" And you'd be like, "Oh no, that's clearly a Guandao. Are you kidding me? Is this a Guandao or a Bicento? Damn it, that's such hard
we're
to
yet
tell."
we're yet to come to a recording with the same quiz, bizarrely. But it's going
Impressive.
to happen now. Now
It's-
it's
You're all going to bring
had the
weapons
same
of the world.
question.
bladed weapons.
Yeah, we've had the odd issue when we've had very similar or same questions, haven't we?
Well, it's not an
but
issue,
never-
John.
never
What
the same
happened
quiz.
was John and Johnny had the same question. Johnny asked it, and John, rather than saying, I've written this question in my quiz, answered it correctly to get the point, and then revealed afterwards
Yeah.
that he knew the information because he'd
Nice.
written the same
Well,
It was
question.
something
We're all
like- it was
gamers
like-
here. We all know how to play games.
You've got to learn the
That's what
info
you
from
do.
somewhere.
It was like, when was the first iPhone released in the US or something? And John just confidently went, 15th of May 2020.
Seven.
Or like 2007 or whatever. Just like, what?
How does he know the exact date?
Straight in.
Well, we've had this a little bit as well. We've been guests on and had on our show the people from Good Job Brain, which is
I don't know how they handle it
podcast.
because they theme most of their episodes as well, and somehow they manage to not bring in the same segments as each other.
To the point where we were guests with written quizzes on a couple episodes of their show where they have a set theme and everyone writes a quiz around that theme. And we were like, oh, how do we make sure we're not stepping on anyone else's toes? And they went, oh, I don't know, it's just never been an issue. You'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Like, just write
Well,
whatever's
because
in your
there's
heart.
I guess the thing is, you can ask a quiz about anything, and there's loads of anything in the world.
There's a lot
so
of
the chances
anything.
of actually getting
Well,
the exact same thing is slim, I guess. It will happen at some point.
Yeah.
One day.
But we also, the three of us we've got different styles of asking questions. So there is, I think because of that, there is slightly less chance of there being too significant a crossover.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, there is
So that does really
whenever
help.
I branch into a Johnny style quiz, I do panic a little bit that he's gone and done the same thing. I know, John, you had to Google like our own podcast just to make sure Johnny hadn't asked one of them the other week.
That's what I did when we were on Good Job Brain. I went through their entire back catalogue to make sure they hadn't talked about the thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, that was sort of, when we were on Lateral as well. It's the same of going, oh, I've got this amazing fact, this amazing thing, and then it turns out, oh no, they did it, 12
3 months ago.
Yeah.
You have this problem where you come up with something that feels like great lateral knowledge, and that's because you learned it from Lateral.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah.
I have this real issue as well, is as soon as I learn a fact or something, I instantly think I'm the last person to know this and everyone else knows it. And I don't have a great gauge on that with information. I'm quite good on knowing what people know quiz-wise, so how difficult to write a quiz question. Like, most people know the capital of France. Most people don't know the capital of Burkina Faso. However, when it's like...
Danny,
go on. Hand up.
Ouagadougou.
There we go.
Ouagadougou. There we go. My school was twinned with a school in Ouagadougou. That's why I always say Burkina Faso.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, fun. But however, that's why you guys won Pointless. That kind of knowledge. But
pointless knowledge.
Whereas with facts, I don't quite have that gauge. Like, does everyone know that dreamt's the only word that ends in MT in the English language? I don't know.
That was showing up for me a couple of times on my Facebook feed really recently. I find that at like pub trivia nights, those can be exceptionally badly written in exactly that way for some categories. Like, especially, I want to say science. But video games is a weird one where either they're painfully obvious or something that even I, a person who plays a lot of video games, could not possibly guess.
Yeah.
And it tends to be if you don't know a lot about the subject. So Johnny will often write sports questions. He knows nothing about sport. And they'll either be insanely easy or he'll think they're easy. But John and I are like, I've never even heard of this guy. There's a Brazilian footballer he talked about called Zosimo, who has become a kind of mythical NPC, if you like, on our pod.
Everyone knows Zosimo.
No one knows Zosimo, Johnny.
I did that.
What was the No More Jockeys equivalent? Mert Atzak.
Yep.
Appeared in every episode of No More Jockeys.
I did that once a couple of years ago. I wrote a 10-question quiz for a trivia advent calendar that a friend of ours puts together for charity. And I decided I'm going to go with something that I don't know anything about. Let's write a fashion quiz. So I had no idea what my difficulty was going to be like, but then I got to see the stats at the end. So these were all quiz enthusiasts, and the average was something like 6 out of 10. And I went, perfect. I think that means I nailed it in terms of difficulty.
Yeah. Because also you're stuck. There's two other things when writing a quiz question. One is the second you know the answer, it is so much easier, and so you've got to take away that knowledge to work out, is it actually easy without knowing it? Because if you're asking a question, you play it on family board games, you're like, come on, it's easy. It's like, well, no, it's easy because you're reading the answer.
The same thing obviously goes with puzzles. Like, if there is something like that plaque, seeing those directions, every single one of those words stood out like a sore thumb to me, because I knew exactly where they were.
Yeah, you must think as soon as someone sees that, they're instantly just going to say, well, it clearly says up, right, left.
It feels exactly like that.
Yeah, it definitely seems like, because you'll see it yourself. If you go back and look at this plaque right now, it goes, without your bravery and downright craziness. Oh, obviously, that's correct.
And down
so
you lie. Who says that?
It's the most obvious thing in the entire world. But when you read it the first time, of course you don't see it. Why would you think that? Especially because you haven't even seen the buttons yet.
I seriously considered that you might anagram open this the first time you saw the mural.
Yeah.
It was not impossible.
But that's the beautiful thing about the way it was staged, though, in that we didn't know what it was used for, so we couldn't apply any relevance to it. And so if we'd have known that there was 4 words we were looking for, we'd have seen the mural and gone, oh, 4 words is 8 letters. What could it be? And it's kind of wasted. It's really nice.
Deciding what level of context to apply is interesting. Like, Bill thought that it might need something else that hinted an anagram, whereas I was thinking, no, as long as you've got it's 2 4-letter words, I think that's enough. If I just said you need a passphrase, absolutely not. That's insane.
No.
You have to set up some because again, that was John. I think straight away you went, oh, shine top. That is 8 letters, which we needed 4, so that's 8. So that's enough letters. Like, having that one connection to hang your hat on and be like, that's the thing. This must be something is really helpful. It's why you want to make downright really obvious straight away, so you can go, oh, the rest of this puzzle might be hard to find all the ups and stuff, but downright is so obvious that I've got the thing to go, oh, that's a true thing, obviously. So
I've got a foothold now,
yeah,
and I can build from there.
But that's the other thing I think that I struggle with quiz writing that I've kind of learned to curtail is that I don't want anyone. I want to write a question that I don't want anyone to get right, which no one wants to play something that's too hard. And so we have it when we go on Lateral because we write our own questions when we go on it, and that we'll kind of send them to producer David, and he'll then make them a bit easier, and then we'll go, don't make it easier, make it harder, and then we have a bit of a backwards and forwards about it. And then often what happens is that actually we've made it too hard and no one can get it, and then we should have listened because you've got that thing of I want this to be too tricky for you, and so it's finding that balance, like you say with your puzzle, like I don't need to make it easier, I don't want to make it too hard, but there's that balance, and that's
I don't want to prevent you from solving this because you're going to feel great when you solve it, and then I'm going to feel like I wrote a solvable thing. We all win, but I need to balance it out to make sure you only get it right when I want you to get it right.
We had a bigger problem with this when we were working as part of the writing and design team of Rise of the Golden Idol, which is a puzzle
video game
that was quite popular. It was really, really lovely, but working on that and like. Those were, again, right, completely hands-off playtesting where it's like, you can't say anything because you're never going to be there when the people play this. So it has to stand alone. And even more so needing to be like, you'd playtest it, be like, great, this is really cool, but it took them 2 hours to solve what should have been a 10-minute puzzle. Okay, I have to pull a lot back. I have to start, and some of these puzzles you're putting stuff in, you're like, well, this is the most obvious clue in the world. No one could miss this. It's like a giant sign that said, this guy did it. And still people are going, okay, interesting. What could this be? And you're like, okay, no, like it's really hard to divorce yourself from that feeling of like, when you know the answer, it's the most obvious thing in the world. And just trying to make it easier and easier and easier until you feel like, oh, am I ruining my puzzle? Am I making it nothing? Is it becoming just completely meaningless? But you still be like, no, people are loving it, people are enjoying it, people are finding it just the right level of difficult, and it's a hard balance because you do want to do something really sneaky. You want it to be layered and complex and cool.
I just, with all my quizzes, I think I've kind of talked about it on our pod a bit before, but I love Derren Brown, the magician. Do you know Derren Brown?
Still,
yeah. And I love at the end he goes, remember that thing that you thought? Actually, it's this. Hey. And I try and impart some of that into the quizzes because it's that feeling of, there was something else going on, but you could have worked it out earlier on if you'd have been paying attention, or not necessarily paying attention, but because I'm misdirecting you somewhere else, you weren't thinking about it or doing it like that. And that kind of reward, because who doesn't want to be a magician? That's the kind of how you can get that same feeling, but through kind of quizzing. That's what I try and do with my quizzes, at least, is have some kind of overarching thing that doesn't really matter, but is a nice little Easter egg for people to pick up on.
And it's a bit like that with murder mystery stuff as well, trying to be like, oh, it's really nice if you can get something early on that later is like, well, that was the proof the whole time. Yeah. That first clue was the evidence you needed, but you didn't know, you couldn't give it context. Even we had the tiny moment of that in this with the fact that when you finally solved that it was factors, we were like, it was introduced as, you were told there are factors to consider for this puzzle.
That was really good.
That was the only information you had, that the blueprint say you have to consider all the factors.
Yeah.
I like, Jim, you're particularly good at implying a rule. So Jonny and I just assume that it's a rule, and then we carry on like that.
The Taskmaster effect. That's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fair. So you did one, Jim, where you asked us to...
Hang on.
Does it not come out?
It might not. Are you going to talk about...
Yeah, I won't.
One that hasn't come out
That's
yet.
fine. We could just end it there.
I don't want to give it away to anyone listening.
And with that, that's a nice little thing for future listeners. You'll know when you hear it.
That's it.
Indeed, you will.
And look, while we are talking about all the quizzes that you are writing, do you want to give another plug and maybe some actual where to go to find you?
Because our audience is, a little bit of a fan
they
of that sort of thing.
Like trivia and puzzles and things.
Right.
Where can people hear all the stuff you do? Where can they find all of your fun quizzes?
Absolutely. If you go to any social media site, Instagram, X, Facebook, wherever, and follow at Here's What You Do pod, you'll find us there. You can hit our website, which is here'swhatyoudoo.co.uk. Give us a follow, subscribe to the pod. We're on all your podcast apps. We'd love you to listen.
And of course, tell us when we get things wrong, which we tend to do from time to time.
We get
and we love nothing
all
more
the time
than listeners to let us know.
And you know what? Sometimes facts change over time.
Facts change. That's a great way to look at it. Oh, the facts changed. Yes.
you can also that is actually true, because we did record some podcasts in advance that we've had some guests on the pod, which I think when this is going out it might already have gone out. I'm not 100% sure on the release schedule, but we've kind of collaborated with a few of the podcasts, so we've pushed ones further back that we recorded earlier. There's a question in there about the Grand National that John wrote, which was true until the recent Grand National happened after we recorded it. So I've just put a note in the show notes to say it was true when it happened, but not when you're listening to it.
It's always fun when you see that at the start of a Jeopardy episode or something. You go, ooh, maybe a celebrity died in the meantime or something.
yeah. But I should also say, like, the point of our podcast is to compete and set the best quiz. And so we award a winner on the pod. At the end of each podcast, we talk about them and choose who should be the winner. But the people listening can also choose. So we have a poll on Spotify and we have one on Instagram on a Saturday, where if you don't agree with our decision, which a lot of the time people don't, you can have your say and choose, and we crown a winner that way. The People's Champ.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. You did great. It was really lovely to listen and watch you play. Thank you, Danny, for running such a lovely room.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, everybody at home, for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you want to help support the show, feel free to just tell people about it. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell a neighbor, tell someone on the other side of the world. Get them listening to the show. You can also support the show on Patreon. We don't run any ads on the show. It's all just crowdfunded. So thank you for everybody who supports us there. Anybody who supports us at any level can appear as an NPC in one of the rooms.
And we had 2 of those for this one. One, Gardenia, thank you for giving your name to our bank. And of course, Martin Webb, thank you for being, Martin.
He was a real person.
That's a real guy.
I feel bad now.
Martin.
And he loves Glaives.
I think IRL Martin's a real nice guy.
Yeah.
But also,
Story behind.
there is a new weekly bonus episode
We
every
warned
week.
them well in advance that they're probably going to be a douchebag.
But yes, there are also new weekly episodes every week for $5 donors. There's another weekly show for the $10 donors. There's monthly videos for the $10 donors. There's weekly cryptic crosswords for the $20 donors. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff
You
there.
ever have one of those days where you just feel like having so much stuff downloaded that you panic a little bit? We can give you that.
Sign up for 1 month and you'll get access to way more than a month's worth of solid 24-hour listening. So you'll be fine. Thank you, everybody who supports us there. It's what keeps the lights on and the microphones recording. All
And
right,
keeps
thank
the
you,
dog
everybody.
with food, which he wants.
All right, thank you.
So that was the
everybody.
dog, not one of us laughing.
That was the dog. I have to finish this episode, dog. Thank you, everybody, for listening. That's it. Bye, everybody.